As I said earlier, Mr. Kemo Conte would take us through political science and international relations and the career paths that are there in this field. Just to tell you who Kemo is, he is currently a lecturer in politics and international relations at the University of the Gambia. He graduated from Nusrat Senior Secondary School in 2013. Kemo obtained a certificate, a diploma, an advanced diploma in international relations and politics, distinction, and best student at the Stratford College of Management in the Gambia. That is in 2015. Simultaneously, Kemo obtained higher teacher certificate HGC in science and social studies from the Gambia College. Kemo obtained first-class bachelor's degree in political science, summa cum laude. And he is currently, you better clap for that. That is a great start. And he is currently the highest achieving student from the UDG Political Science Unit with a GPA of 3.9. Kemo obtained a master's degree in international relations at China Foreign Affairs University in Beijing. Kemo won the Best Diplomacy Award at the Beijing International Model United Nations competition. He is a multiple award-winning public speaker and a debater. And Kemo also received numerous leadership awards, both domestic and international. In 2023, he was awarded the Outstanding Young African Leadership Award by Nelson Mandela Technical University in Freetown, Sierra Leone. Kemo received an Outstanding Leadership Award from the University of the Gambia, which was awarded by the President of the Republic of the Gambia, His Excellency President Adama Barrow. Because of his spectacular diplomatic skills, Kemo was awarded the most Honorable Mention Delegate Award during the International Diplomatic Conference in Ghana 2022. So, ladies and gentlemen, we cannot have a better person to deliberate on this subject than Honorable Kemo Conte. And he was the former president of the University of the Gambia Students' Union.
So, let me seize this opportunity to thank Mr. Ibrahim Dabo for that brilliant lecture he gave. Quite very straight to the point, and they were spectacular. I really loved the way he put it. And allow me to seize this opportunity also to thank Mr. Bara in absentia, who also did spectacular presentations on journalism and so forth. Let me seize this opportunity to thank the Deputy Superintendent. I think I have a good memory to recall that, of the Gambia Police Force. I'm sure we're going to hear a very delightful one from her. Let me also seize this opportunity to thank the School Authority for actually giving us this opportunity. My very own son, by the way, it's not only Priyankas that are my son, of course, even some small Tribonkas who are currently present here are also my sons. I must also seize this opportunity to thank every one of you who is present here. Basically, the task we have at hand is not difficult. I just want to make some visualization in order work. Because it's quite important when we are talking about this at times, we are able to present them. And that will definitely help in terms of our synchronization between what is presented and what is echoed. So I know we will not have a very good presentation here because the nature of the PowerPoint and so forth. I think we have a problem with this. Yes, but the way it is on the screen here, the way it is here is different. That's the problem. Okay? So, but we'll manage, don't worry about this, we'll manage, okay? And I'm not also going to be stationary here in order to do a favor for the camera guy. So I'll be rotating. So let me actually express some delight that I have for Kotu Senior Secondary School. This is my 4th time of standing before students of Kotu Senior Secondary School. I think at different venues, some of them, I actually had them at the women quarters or the ladies quarters, and some of them this particular hall. But what I find quite interesting about students of Kotu Senior Secondary School, I remember a couple of months ago we had orientation at the University of the Gambia for our new interns. We actually saw some very brilliant students from Kotu Senior Secondary School. And what is fascinating about it, those brilliant students are from this Humanities department. Some of you will recall the likes of Isaac Kante, I think Isaac Kante, yeah, and many other students, right? Some of them are in my class doing introduction to politics with me. So I'm sure all of you are going to emulate those people in order to become very good students, to complete with flying colors and join us at the University of the Gambia. Oh, better still, you can find way for other universities outside of the territory, right? Some of you may want to go to UK. Mr. Imran is here. Yes. So the task I have here, I think is a little bit complicated. And also, I also have some complication right now. When my brother called me, I confirmed to him that I am currently suffering from a dry cough. I consistently cough. But despite that being the case, I have some recipe with me. If I'm coughing, I'll put pastiwat in my mouth. Okay? All right. So we are looking at political science, and we are looking at careers of political science and international relations. The reason why I confine the presentation to political science is because international relations emanate from political science. So we'll get to a point where IR will become a necessity of this presentation. But at this stage, we'll first start with political science. So I know many of us, if we tell our parents at home that I'm going to study political science at the university, the first thing they will tell you, do you want to become a politician? That's what they will say. Are you going to become a liar? I know, they say that the journalists, they say that the lawyers, you want to become a liar, you just want to be conning. I remember when I completed in 2013 from User Senior Secondary School, I told my guardian, who actually is my grandfather, I told him that I am going to the University of the Gambia and I want to read political science. So meaning, you cannot come and cheat me in my own office if you study political science. He even went further to tell me that if you study political science, you are on your own. I don't have your time. So it's become quite a very, very difficult decision for me. So what they did for me, they went straight to Gambia College and they collect Gambia College form, they fill it for me, they submitted it on my behalf without my consent, right? So I was trapped in 24 corner, the classroom of Gambia College. I had to do HTC, higher teacher certificate, before I come to university. So even finishing that program, when I came to university, at that point in time, my guardians were not happy that I was going to read political science. But they actually had misconceptions at that time. They didn't understand. So sometimes it is our duty to inform them to understand about fields. As somebody said before, I think Kotu said, there's no field that can unilaterally or surely develop this country. We need different fields. And those things also must work in harmony, in synchronized manner to be able to, imagine you have entire country carpenters, entire country plumbers, entire country politicians or political scientists. That country will not go, isn't it? So my dad's misconception, my guardian's misconception is part of chain of misconception that many people who lived before them also had about political science. So look at this. You remember this one? This guy is called Plato. I know some of you, especially those who have been government, will know who Plato is. Plato is one of the founding fathers of the Western philosophy. He is an Athenian scholar. He is from the ancient Greek city of Athens. He himself, despite his philosophical knowledge, he did, at the initial stage, he had bad misconception about politics. Listen to what he said about politics. He said, politics is impure. In fact, he went further to say that it is beneath virtue. It's not important. Okay? He said politics is corrupt. But later, he realized what politics did for him. He said, of course, politics is only best if we can nurture philosopher kings, people who will be well educated to man the affairs of the people. He's not alone in terms of this misconception. There's also another man. You know this guy? How many of you know this guy? It's called Albert Einstein, one of the finest scientific minds to live on this planet. He too had misconceptions about politics. Initially, he thought that, well, politics is irrational. He said politics is inferior to science. It's not important. He even wanted to say that politics is for the moment an equation which scientists use as a tool, is eternal. He said that. But he didn't understand this. But later he realized when he escaped the killing of the Nazis in Nazi Germany during the Second World War. When he went to America, he told the then American president that I escaped a very bad political environment. I am here in a good political status in order to get protected. And he he signed the letter that led to the building of the first atomic bomb that was dropped on Nagasaki and Hiroshima. Because he is one of the most respected scientists at the time in America. So he felt that better political system, like the one they had in America, would protect him. Now, he actually disputed his initial point of politics is beneath science, is bad, is corrupt, and he had a good mindset for it later. You know, this man too had one of the greatest people that lived on this earth, Mahatma Gandhi. Gandhi too initially had a bad misconception about politics. In fact, he said politics is dirty, it is morally contaminated. You know, when something is morally contaminated, you should not go close to it, isn't it? He said politics is morally contaminated. He said, I have no politics, I am but a true seeker or human seeker of truth. He seeks truth, but not politics. But later, why is this a misconception? Because he later realized that justice, truth, and social reform are in fact profoundly political. So politics cannot be separated from social actions. Another guy, this guy is called Samuel Johnson, one of the greatest American political scientists. This guy too, despite his knowledge, he initially had misconception about politics. And he said politics is nothing more than means of rising in the world. If you want everybody to talk about your name, come to politics. He thinks politics stops there. Nothing more is important about politics. Okay? Which is a misconception. Henry Adams, also one of the greatest politicians, or greatest political scientists and historian, he also said that politics is nothing but systematic organization of hatred. If you want to be hated, come to politics. That's what he taught. Until later, he changed his mind. Okay, let me help you to actually look at what politics is not about. I don't know, we have a problem with our PPT because it's cutting everything here, but I will just manage. So, politics is not dirty, it is not irrational, it is not morally contaminated, it is not inferior to science, sorry for that, and it is not also about corruption. What is politics about? So it's important we understand this, because if you understand this, you'll be able to rescue yourself and make a decisive choice. The word politics
emanate from a Greek word meaning polis, P-O-L-I-S, polis, which means what? The affairs of the city-state. So if you hear politics, it means deciding on who get what, when, and how. Deciding on who should rule, why should he rule, what qualification does he have. Deciding on making compromises and consensus. Given the fact that resources of every country, irrespective, are limited in terms of considering the demand and supply, there is need to rationalize as to which particular areas should we put more monitor or where we should not pay monitor. National Assembly debated issues of that sort. But before you finalize on anything, you need political decisions to be taken. You need compromises to be made. You need consensus to be built. Those are within the very confines of political discourse. So I always say this, even in the churches and mosques, there are politics, isn't it? Some people will actually ask, how can we have politics in a mosque? Quite certainly, in every mosque in this country has mosque committee members. We have our mosque committee members, isn't it? You will ask yourself, how do we get to elect or choose mosque committee members? We don't go to any ghetto and pick anyone from a ghetto and make him as a mosque committee member, isn't it? We actually gave them based on their commitment to the mosque. Have we been attending your 5 daily prayers? Have we been taking care of the kettles in the mosque? Have we been concerned about the cash power, whether the meter of the mosque has cash power? So if you are punctual for some of those things, then you can be part of the mosque committee. The most revered or the most important Christian denomination, or one of, if not all, the Catholic diocese. If you go to Rome, you will find a particular place called the Vatican City. This Vatican City is where the head of the Catholic world is sitting. The head of the Catholic Church is the Pope. That Pope is elected through a political process. You know, we heard when the last Pope died, there was debate when Pope Francis died as to how we should get the other Pope, the succeeding Pope. Should we ensure that this particular Pope comes from Africa, from another part of the world? So manifestos that were displayed at the Vatican City captured the area of race, region, moderate or conservative, whether the person is actually concerned about the status of refugees or not. That is what actually determined the discussion. So that is purely a political process. So even in the church, there is politics. In the mosque, there is politics, okay? So don't take politics by what some politicians are doing, okay? So, according to Andrew Herod, one of the respected political scholars, he said, politics is nothing but it's about mending, preserving, protecting the general rules under which people live. So that is about politics, okay? You know, it is also about compromises and consensus. I just want to quickly run on that. You know, let's look at something fascinating. This is like an airport, isn't it? I think those at the back can see what is projected here. This is an airport. We don't know where it is located. So if you want to judge Sadauda Kairaba Jawara, you want to judge politics. Because Jawara warned the people of Canada that I'm going to build an airport for you. And until today, there is no airport. And even when the airport is flying, they will say, hey, Gandam. So, Jawara said airport. And there is no airport in Canada. That does not mean that politics is a lie. It is the politician who acts in a dishonest way. But that does not actually confine politics into that misinformation, or negative or pejorative connotation. You know, you hear about Al-Qaeda, Boko Haram. They use the name of Islam. According to the head of Boko Haram, Abu Bakr check how. He said that Islam said that we should kill these people. We should kidnap the children girls. We should do ABCD, all those wrongs. You had Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, the head of ISIS, Osama bin Laden and others. They said they were acting in the name of Islam. But Islam had never advised them to do so. So if you want to judge Islam based on what Al-Qaeda does, what Al-Mustafon does, what Al-Sasaria does, what Al-Sabab does, what Boko Haram does, you are going to get it all wrong. Mr. Imran reminds us to go back to the text and confirm from the text and now act according to the text, not by Boko Haram or Al-Qaeda. So you cannot judge Jawara wrong for not failing. You cannot judge politics wrong for Jawara's failure to provide an airport for the people of Kenaba. You know, this is why they were, actually become very, very less ambitious when Jawara subsequently asked them, what do you want? When he asked the people of here, what do you want? They said, Pagero. So, they have learned from the airport because the airport promise was never fulfilled. They said, Pagero. So interestingly, if one failed to fulfill a promise, that doesn't mean that you don't go to the wrong way. The people of Manipur wanted to mechanize agriculture, isn't it? But the government gave them donkeys and horses instead of giving them tractors to mechanize their agriculture. So you could see the actions of politicians doesn't justify what really a particular subject matter is. It's like how various religions are misjudged by its followers. What is political science? Let's get to the pure of it, okay? Political science is the systematic study of politics, about governance, policy, administrations, or the day-to-day functioning of an institution or a structure. And the importance of studying political science, there are a lot of importance, okay, which we cannot highlight all. But one of them is it helps understand the government and the political institutions. Many of you who are art students actually have learned this. Promote democratic values and responsible citizenship. Develop critical thinking and analytical skills. Encourage accountability, transparency, and rule of law. Prepare individuals for leadership and public service. Support effective policy making and national development. Open career opportunities in politics, administrations, and diplomacy. Prepare people for foreign and diplomatic service. So you see the importance of politics. If you study politics, this is how you can contribute meaningfully to the development of the Gambia. So there are a lot of careers in politics, a lot of careers, because politics is multifaceted discipline. It's very wide. So you can study political science at your bachelor's and you find yourself in the field of diplomacy. Eventually you can become maybe Gambia's ambassador to Guinea-Bissau. Whenever I talk about that, people don't want to be sent as ambassadors to Guinea-Bissau. You know, I asked some of my students at the university, I told them that upon studying political science and doing masters in your master's level or doing IR in your master's level, would you want the Gambia government to send you as Gambia's representative in Freetown, Sierra Leone? They said, no, I want to go to maybe Geneva. I want to go to New York. I want to be probably Gambia's permanent representative at the United Nations. Some say, no, I want to be sent to Switzerland to serve as Gambia's representative in whatever area, right? So meaning, nobody wants to serve us in a developing world, not knowing that we could need them more than even how or the way we could need some of these powerful countries, okay? So areas in politics where I will focus a little bit on diplomacy and IR. So you can be a policy analyst. Hello? If you study politics, you can be a policy analyst. The reason why we have a high school
called Munazamat al-Dawa al-Islamiyah. I think I got it right? Yes. The reason of having this is because there is education policy. You need experts, but you need people to analyze policy for them. So, studying political science, which is about a whole set in terms of administration, in terms of governance, will equip you with the knowledge to be able to analyze policies. You know, somebody asked me, how many advisors do we have our current president who are maybe political science degree holders? I said, as far as my knowledge is concerned, none. Advisor on governance, advisor, presidential special advisor, economist. I don't know for that of the advisor on political affairs, but I want to believe that he doesn't understand politics when I listen to him. But youth matters, no political knowledge. Busan or two, I'm not sure he has political knowledge. So, you actually concluded in this way. If special advisors to the president don't have any knowledge in law, in politics, it's problematic, I think this. Okay? Legislative assistants, huh? If you study, okay, that's my voice. Why didn't you give me this? I'm not sure that's my voice. Yes. So, you can, when you study politics, you could become civil servants, okay? You can serve in the civil service engine of the country. Studying politics can make you a politician. You can become a politician, right? You can form your own political parties, and you can campaign or debate all ways of policies, okay? That is what actually will definitely make you an actual politician. So since we are a little bit distracted, I'm going to quickly work on this. You can also become a public administration if you study politics. Yes, it is important. You can become public administrators if you study political science. And you can also become diplomats to serve your country in foreign service or even back in the home here. You can also become university lecturers, like some of us. You can become political party officials. You can become researchers or research fellows. You can become political analysts, and you can become think tank analysts, technical analysts. You can become legislative drafting officers if you study political science. You can become political journalists. You can become media analysts, public relation officers, government spokesperson, very important officer. You can become program officers, human resource officers, development consultant, and so forth. So, let me conclude by looking at some of the great people that actually you would love to know their field of studies. Barack Obama, his first degree was political science before actually studying law as an additional degree at his master's level. His undergrad program was political science. Barack Obama, I think all of us know Barack Obama, isn't it? Is there anyone who doesn't know Barack Obama? It's very possible. It's very possible. Yes. So he was the 44th president of the United States of America, okay? Bill Clinton, this man, Bill Clinton, he also studied political science. And he studied political science and international relations at Georgetown University. This man, Theodore Roosevelt, who was in fact a great mind in the field of political science. He studied politics and history, predominantly political science from the Harvard University. And you could see Woodrow Wilson, whose idea led to the creation of the League of Nations and eventually to the formation of
the United Nations. He was also a political science professor, in fact. You remember the Ghanaian nationalist who is also profoundly referred to as Pan-Africanist, Kwame Nkrumah. Nkrumah also studied political science. Some of you might be interested in knowing him. You can also familiarize yourself with another great man called Lee Kuan Yew. Lee Kuan Yew also studied political science. He is the one responsible for the modern transformation of Singapore. Remember, we gained our independence with Singapore in the same year. Singapore also 1965. In fact, Gambia is older than Singapore for some months, right? But today we want to be like our younger brothers, right? We are telling ourselves we should be like Singapore. Even the agenda consistently reminded us. Even though I was, when I say agenda, I cough. That shows that I should be mindful. Yes. So Jana said that he wants to make Gambia as Singapore by 2020, Vision 2020. But he reminded us that by 2016, in fact, there will be an embargo on the importation of rice. There will be eat what we grow and grow what we eat. So Jana is visionary, right? Even though we could not see that policy realization. So another great man, Kofi Annan. Kofi Annan also studied political science and international relations. He became the Secretary General of the United Nations. One of the most important international civil service job you can get is the Secretary General of the United Nations. One of the toughest and the top jobs in our world today. Remember, he's also a Peace Prize laureate, Nobel Peace Prize laureate. And his successor, not immediate successor, but Ban Ki-moon also studied political science and international relations. He also contributed well to the development of the world. And you can see this man, one of the finest brain in the international news outlets, Mehdi Hassan of Al Jazeera. He studied politics from Oxford University, and he became one of the finest faces on screen today. Fearless debater, very good communicator, is my personal mentor. There's another person here who studied political science. And that's my own time. I also studied political science and international relations, okay? So, in conclusion, I just want to conclude with these probably two inspirational statements. Hello, those in the back, please. Can you actually kindly lend us your ears? I just want to conclude with this. Listen, people will tell you different things. They will give you a lot of recommendations. They will tell you, oh, Mr. Imran actually told us about his transitions, starting this, shifting to this, doing this, and doing that, and eventually career was later spotted. That is life. People will want to decide your future for you, not respecting your passion, your interests, and your capabilities. In our respective worlds, we will be told that if you study this, you will not have more money. If you do that, you will not be respected. That is the world today. But get this, nobody will believe in you unless you believe in yourself. Nobody in this world will believe in you unless and until you believe in yourself. And one thing I learned about human nature is that human beings will never rise above the opinion about themselves. The opinion you have about yourself, you will never rise above it. You only rise above your opinion when you change your mindset about yourself. Do not ever think that you are not good enough. Don't ever think that you cannot be a president of the Gambia. Don't ever think that if I choose a particular career, I will never achieve it. Negative self-hurt are things that you must cast away. Being a positive man cannot be within the confine of your interests, guided by your talent, your proficiency, your competence, and above all, and the most important thing, your passion. Without passion, you cannot grow. But above, and the most important thing, let me cough. The most important thing, discipline. You know, when we talk about discipline in Gambia, we think that discipline is all about kodo kili, kodo landing, kodo saka, kodo party, right? That is where our deep understanding of discipline starts, isn't it? Discipline is your mental faculty set to have a control over your life. When we said we will be here by 9 a.m., everybody must be here by 9 a.m. You see, when you go to certain countries in the world where you ask them how they get developed, one of the things they have to work on, they make sure that they conquer, is their indiscipline. They cast upon you. You have to have discipline in every aspect of your life. Take a control of your life. Our brain is designed in such a way that it pursues two things: pleasure and leisure. Your brains, our brains, mainly focus on this particular mind wave of following pleasure and leisure. The responsibility that you have is to compare the compass needle of this brain to what can make you the best of yourself. That is to ensure that the brain follows your vision, your mission, and your passion. Even if you want to be president, whether they like it or not, you will be. This is the mindset you need to have. And with this mindset, this country undoubtedly will develop. This knowledge we're talking about, it will be fascinating to see some people, maybe as hairdressers in the future from these humanities. Yes, you will find some people in the pharmacy. They will tell you that, I want to study this, but I don't have choice. I don't have this. People have thought about things, but you need discipline. You need a disciplined mind. Disciplined mind is actually nothing can defeat a disciplined mind. The moment you have disciplined mind, you will achieve all what you want. We learn about history. It taught us different lessons. And this particular generation we have, nobody can rescue it apart from us. Those who lived in yesterday, they did their best, maybe. The present generation also should do something in order to actually help the future. Consistently, we should say that yesterday has a demand, which is history has a demand, present has a demand, and posterity has a demand. And we must be aware of those demands and answer to the call of duty. As philosopher Santayana brilliantly said, only those who refuse to study history are condemned to repeat it. Thank you.
We are glad you made it here with us to also join and grace this occasion with us. So moving on with the next item on the itinerary, we will invite on a person whose profession made it possible for us to sleep at night, leave our purposes outside, and sleep to the next morning without worrying. Because we know someone out there, group of men and women out there are going to protect our lives and also our properties. These are people who are often celebrated in our society. and people that we should always celebrate. And I want us to give them the biggest round of applause for DSP Marian Mari as he approached the podium to give a statement for us. And it is also important to note that DSP Mari is the mentor of our very own head boy, Usman Toure, who aspired to be the IGP, not only the IGP of this country. Thank you very welcome.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. Can we please stand up a bit, just for a minute, please? Please, you may take your seats back. Thank you. With silence, with silence. Are we all together? I was one time a student. Answering to the call made by Kotu Senior Secondary School, I think give me one of the most beautiful memories that I will go home with after here. I must confess to the fact that I have a mentor who was in this school. He taught here for some time before joining the Gambia Police Force, where he became my mentor, Mr. Fude Fufana. He is no longer with you, but with us now. Probably most of you didn't meet him here, but maybe the teachers must have heard about him. He's the one who mentored me to become the version of myself. And on the other hand, I have a mentee who is no other than Usman Toure. Yeah. You know, sometimes it's not about the people that we know that can always guide us through. Meeting Usman was a fact, and he just appreciates me, probably for the person that I am. Not because I am a woman, but for the person that I am. To begin with, my name is Mariam Bari. I am a Deputy Superintendent of Police. When it comes to the rank, these are the 3 stars. But I am the Deputy Officer Commanding Police Administration at the Office of the Inspector General of Police. For the first time, a woman occupies that space that I am very proud of and I continue to talk about. So I started my schooling like any other Gambian child, a female for that matter. I was born in Banjul, grew up in Banjul, did my schooling in the educational cycle, that is the government sector. I started with Kampuma Primary School. It's a government school, and you know what public schools are and how they are. From there, I moved to Crab Island. But before moving to Crab Island, my leadership journey began as a deputy head girl. When I started the common entrance, we were the first best 2 female during our time. The 2 Mariamas, we were called them. My head girl and the deputy was me. So when we moved to Crab Island, it's another public school. We call it the Chinese population then, under the leadership of Mr. Fal. Probably some of you must have heard the name. He's one of the seasonal educationalists, very passionate about women in education. So I spent time there. I did not only become a student, I was a school counselor from grade 7 to 9. Having attained to the WAEC, I moved to Gambia Senior Secondary School. So you can see the trend that I was following, all public schools. And I was very much competitive when it comes to my background, because I was supposed to be married off at the age of 13. Yeah. And I am the only girl child out of 6. My brothers were very calm, but they see me as a very notorious young girl at the time because I wanted something in life. What was that? To change the narrative, to become who I am today, to inspire young generations, and then aspire for a better life through education, to redefine what education should mean to every young person in this country, irrespective of the background. When I moved to Gambia Senior Secondary School, under the leadership of Mr. Ka, who I always see like a father, I was equally a counselor at the time, up to my grade 12. So life after grade 12, when I was doing my WAS examination, I was equally doing my information technology at the Quantum Associates, a money that I kept since junior school. We all have those small boxes, right? Maybe some of us still have it. But at the time, I would reduce my lunch to keep, because I don't know what the future would look like. Remember, I told you I was to be married off. My family never wanted to pay for my school fees. But with the blessings of the government, I enjoy government scholarship from junior school to senior school. That is one thing I always say. There is always that need for me to serve the Gambian people and the government, because it was the taxpayers' money that paid for my school fees. So, after having the beautiful results from grade 12, my friends were telling me, let's go to University of the Gambia. I said, no, I don't want that place. I cannot carry chairs and table. At the time, that was the situation. Little did I know that I was wasting my time. Not following that trajectory, I just went in for work. I started working as an administrator at the Royal Victoria Teaching Hospital, where I served for 1 year, 5 months. I joined the police not because I aspired to become a police officer, but due to peer pressure. My colleagues from the volleyball, I used to play volleyball. I represented the Gambia in Zone 2, and I was really playing for the banjo. When it comes to competitions, in terms of sport, my focus was volleyball. So when they asked me to join, I said, everybody will think that I didn't pass grade 12. I'm not going to join the police. So it deterred me. The team had to pursue, to the extent that the former IGP then, Usman Sonko, had to approach me and said, you're the only one remaining. We want you on board. I said, the police cannot pay me. I was receiving at the time $2,500, and I had to leave that for $900. Imagine the margin. Then I said, I'm not going. And secondly, my mom will not approve. The community will not approve. And I was like, continue what you are doing, because it's still the service. But alongside, the pressure was too much. I had to just join, not because I wanted to become a police officer. When I joined, then I said to myself, what is it about becoming a police officer? I started making research about policing. Remember, the internet was not as it is today, but I was asking people, what can this do? What do you think the police should look like? Because the notion we have in Biden, police was meant for the dropout. But then we have to just manage life to see what it's going to take us through. Life after training as a police officer, I had to make further inquiries as to how can I better serve my people through the profession that I am doing. So I tend to realize that there is this concept called community policing. And at the time, our PRO was Aziz Bojang. So I will constantly go to his office, engage him as to what community policing really means when it comes to the Gambian context. And because I was very much passionate about it, when the Canadians came to train the Gambia Police Force personnel, it was only few of us that were chosen. It was community policing and restorative justice. That was the program that they were here for. So as I was exposed to the training, I came to understand some of the concepts. But when it comes to, contextualizing those concepts into the Gambian context, it was a bit kind of a challenging, looking at the laws, looking at how people really understand what is called the word policing. So as time goes by, I built interest. I was more into engaging community members, starting from where I was born, that is Picton Street. It's a very calm space, but full of life. We have diverse people living around that end. So I started engaging my friends. One thing I will tell you is, I was a fan of the boys. I didn't have friends that are female. And still now my life is built around men. But my only best friend is my best friend, and that's one. I can't have many best friends. So because I was exposed to that, my strategies started engaging those boys. I limited at some point engaging them because they started the smoking aspect of their life, for which I could not take, because I was really much considerating as to how people will view me. So coming down to the police side, I was conceived as a radical police officer. My life was all about, no, this can be, no, this can be. Because I was not too much into the law when it comes to the policies, because there were no much policies that addresses certain things in relation to female folk within the system. So that gave me an edge. So whatever they say, I will say, can you show me that law that says this, and I will abide. Because my life is all about leadership from primary to where I met myself. So if there are no rules, no regulation, you cannot punish me for that. And I became like, oh, he's stubborn. I wasn't stubborn. I was just looking for the right path to make sure that everybody aligns themselves within the context of what is designed as a guiding rule. So in 2013, I left the source of the Gambia for a peacekeeping mission with the United Nations Mission Hybrid in Darfur. As the youngest peacekeeper, it wasn't about being a male or female, but the youngest peacekeeper. So when I went to the peacekeeping environment, I had already developed my CV. So when we submitted the CVs to the human resources, the first thing that everybody is tasked with is to become a patrol officer. But in my case, it was unique. When I arrived, they said, where is Mariama Bare? So we were a chunk of people sitting. The contingent is 100 contingent people that were in the contingent. So I just stood and said, I'm the one. So the man looked at me as young as I was, because I was in my 28 years. What are you doing here, young girl? Well, you are asked to report to the chief of staff officer. I said, okay. I went without being scared. I was that confident. Mariama, we are taking you to the operations office. You are going to occupy that office, and you're going to start doing the work right from tomorrow. Then I said to myself, I'm leaving today, how can I? Then said, well, the chopper is there, you are leaving today and you are going as an operation officer. Then I said to myself, it's another challenge. I have to own it up. So when I went there, I met Arab people that were there. So they are very fluent when it comes to their Arab speaking side. And they're very good at computer. But when it comes to the English version, I think that's one of the key things why I was sent. So the very day that I entered the office and they submitted the reports, imagine a young girl from the Gambia, you don't have a background of peacekeeping, and they just pumped in about 7 reports that you need to review. I looked at it, I said, this thing is scanty. How are you people writing? Then the man said to me, that's why you are here. I had to sit for almost 12 hours editing reports, just the first day I reported. And the moment they sent it to the sector headquarters, the following day was like, who is this young girl who did this? This is what we were looking for. So there I was not Mariama Bari. I was the Gambia, because that's what I was answerable to. So I only spent 3 months. There were publications for vacancies. I applied at the mission headquarters. There is this office where they call Joint Mission Analysis Center. It's one of the 4 key pillars within the peacekeeping. So having the background from the Gambia as an INT officer, that is intelligence officer, I challenged myself, I applied, became the first Gambian woman to be in that office, which was a strategic office. And I served the rest of my career at that end. So I was among the few women that represented the Gambia at the time at key positions. Coming back home with that wealth of experience, it was about how to redefine the Gambian police officers in the context of what we were taught, what we were exposed. So as the time goes by, I enrolled to the university after 10 years of my policing career, because I joined in 2005, and I went to the university in 2015. I doubled my effort, only spent 3 years in the University of the Gambia. And in 2018, I applied for the famous Mandela Washington Fellowship, became the first Gambian security officer to be selected under the YALE, that is the Young African Leadership Initiative, which was initiated by President Obama. We traveled to America. It was about 7 of us. So during the interview, I remember some of them like, how can we have a security officer here? Are you sure this is safe for you? What would your leadership say? Then I said, it's not about my leadership. It's about the course of my work. Because I kept challenging the status quo. Where you think I don't fit, I make sure I am in. And the moment I am in, I no longer see myself. I see the bigger picture of what brought me here. Is the fact that I am a Gambian and I deserve a place to be where I want. So when we travel, I remember a lot of people were engaging me because it was like kind of having a female law enforcement officer within this program was a bit different. So even the university where I went to, Bridgewater, I was like a celebrity. Sometimes they would just sit, we want to meet that law enforcement officer, can we have an interview? But then I'll give them access to tell my story. Telling my story, coming back to the Gambia, it was more about not me anymore. The Gambia Police Force owned it to say that it's theirs. So whosoever want to have access to me, you must pass through the IGP, which is fine. But internally, what did Mariama do? We make sure we establish the Gambia Police Force female network, through which I feel I will empower my female colleagues and I will expose them to the realities of policing. So even though many will not tend to believe in the cause, but then we had to use the political space through the IGP's office, navigate through to make sure that our voices are heard within, because it was more of what the policy says. Do we even have a gender policy for the Gambia Police Force? No, at the time, because everything is centered around the male folk. So security is seen to be more of the male aspect of why the job should move. But we have to change safely to show why women can take part when it comes to issues relating to security. One thing I can tell you is, policing has evolved. It's no longer the traditional way of policing. So it requires strategies, preventive mechanisms, proactive participation. Are we together? Yes. The reason why I am here is for us to learn through, understand some of the dynamics, where we were and where we are to where we want to be. So when we do certain things internally, it was more of, now we need a total reform. When the Gambia made the choice to say we are going into a democratic space, of course policing cannot be left behind. It has to be democratic policing. We are policing people that choose to say the Gambia is a democratic state. It's a people-centered. It's no longer about arresting, detaining, prosecuting people. We are looking beyond that eye. Where human security fits in, policing has to value every principle of human security. In that context, we can only use the concept of community policing, utilizing gender mainstreaming in our policies to make sure it speaks the language of the Gambian people. Many will sit today in that institution. Even my seniors, they will tell me, you inspired us because you became a radical in your own right. The good thing is, when they say radical in your own right, we are looking at the positivity of radicalism within the institution, that is to look at development. The Gambia is one of the countries within the sub-region that you can sit and say, our police officers are not armed and they can work freely. So I left the Gambia again in 2021, this time around in a different capacity, to work with the United Nations mission integrated on transitional assistance in Sudan again. But I went as a head of a whole state under the UN banner, being the first Gambian to head in that capacity as a female, because the male, some of them were there, but the female version started with me at the field mission. So when I went there, I headed a component called the police component, where you have very specialized police officers internationally. We had the Russians, the Germans. The Gambia was represented by me as the supervisor. And then we have Jordanians, Sierra Leoneans, Zambians, and Zimbabweans. I remember the team was a bit kind of, broad when it comes to the different experts that were, in the mission at the time. So some of the things that I was doing, I love research. That I can tell you. It's a guiding principle for me. Because when you are speaking as an African, you have to contextualize. If you think best practices from Europe can work without contextualizing, you must be fooling yourself. We have to curtail everything to tailor-made to suit our context as Africans. So the challenge I had at the time was, one, I am a woman. my counterparts from the Sudanese police were seeing me as a young girl. But some of them, when I tell them the number of years that I had with the police, they will be like, no, it's not possible. And they start wondering, how old are you? So you see sometimes how myopic people can be. When I design programs, I always make sure I was ahead of the people that I supervise. I was very much into what I was doing. Coming from the tiny Gambia, even the ones that I was supervising, some of them were older than me, far older than me. I was the youngest in the team, and I had to supervise with a bachelor's degree only from the University of the Gambia, and everybody was like, it's not possible, because I remember I had a doctor that I was supervising. So some of the research that we make, it was more or less to inform our decision as to where we want to take that side. We were looking at how the Sudanese police are to police a 6.5 million people in a particular state, which is more than the population of my country. So strategically, we were able to do it, not because it was I, but as a team. But mind you, where you came from can define where you want to be. The Gambia is a English-speaking country, but it wasn't just about that part. Where were we when it comes to peace? What did we value at the time? Irrespective of our differences, I always tell people, Gambians are one of the most peaceful people. That I can assure you. When we look at the indexes, be proud to call yourself the Gambian. That Gambia in you tells a lot. So when we were doing our things in terms of capacity building, looking at the reform agenda, looking at the material aspect of what is needed at the time, the UN will be, some of my leaders at the headquarters will just turn to me and say, Mariama, you know what, we are equally choosing you now to become one of our repertoire. And when you become a repertoire, remember these are things that are going to present, that they were to present at the Secretary General's office under the Security Council. So whatever you say or you write, it reflects, it has to be backed by the realities. Remember, there will be follow-ups. But then, even if you are to do that, you have to be very honest. Because for me, my integrity surpasses any other thing that I do. So when we do certain reports, they will come back to me and ask, and I will provide evidence. And they will tend to understand that, yes, we know what we were doing, and we make sure we write accurately. We were not exaggerating just because we want to be extended to stay in Sudan. But for me, if I am peaceful and my Sudanese people were not peaceful at the time, then obviously I am not achieving anything as an African and as a woman. So moving forward, I came back to the Gambia, where everything has started and everything has to be centered on. When I came back, it was about Mariama is being nominated to join the Gambia Police Force Technical Working Group. So part of what we do there, we look at the SSR process. But then, to be more specific, the policing aspect of implementing the SSR process. What are we looking at? The Gambia Police Force, the structural part, the legal aspect, and then the implementation aspect of what the SSR dictates. This is a process and is a lifetime process. It cannot happen overnight, but we will get there someday. When we have some of the policies in place, people like me, I love reading. I sleep very early, but I woke up in the middle of the night almost every other day. And then I make sure I sleep back. But 5 a.m. I am up again. So just to tell you, if you want to become one of the Mariamas, it requires a lot of sacrifices. Your mental health is one of the key things that you prioritize. Whatever I am to do, I make sure I sleep good. If I have an issue or had an issue with you, It stops where we had that issue. I don't go home with anybody's problem. I am that liberal person. I am very free. I make sure my life comes before any other thing because I cannot handle a lot of things, but I can handle stress because I face it. I survived war, this recent war in Sudan. I was kidnapped that many Gambians were never exposed to because when I was leaving the source of this country, it was like I am going to assist a transformational system, but not to be exposed to war. That was the first time I see myself in a situation I never thought I would have been. But it was equally an exposure, a learning point. Some of the theories that I was exposed to, that when it happens, it's not being a police officer, but then the best person, the best version of yourself. So when I came back, knowing what Sudan had gone through, I wouldn't want my country to be exposed to that lifestyle, irrespective of what many would see today to say that the Gambia is divided. We are not divided. No. I am a Fula, my son is a Serir, and I have cousins that are Jolas. So today no one can tell me the Gambia is divided. If you choose to say it, just say I am divided, but don't say the Gambia is divided. Are we together? Yes. When you are choosing your career path, understand that challenges must come your way, especially the women. When it comes, never say never. Just look forward to see where you want the Gambia to be. Always be the patriotic citizen to see the red, white, blue, white, green before yourself. Because for me, when I am at work, it's about my work. But when I leave the working environment, it's about the community that I mingle with. I party a lot. I enjoy life to the fullest. Even those who have my WhatsApp number can tell you, I write nonsense because I'm never serious on many things. But when it comes to the professional space, it's not about being serious. It's about how many people am I able to change their minds. Today, if you say, Mariama, engage young people. If I talk to some of them, they always see me, ask them, and they will always have a second thought of whatever they want to do. Because I was a Red Cross volunteer, my life journey was about volunteerism. And then looking forward, when I volunteered, it was about making my life very easy. Because whatever I am today, I must give credit to my youthful days. Hello, ladies. I don't want us. You know what that means, right? Because we are ladies. I will not continue. So for me, sacrificing for your country is service. When you have that in mind and heart, know that you can be anybody that you want to be in society. I wouldn't want to lure you with a lot of thoughts, but it was honestly one of the greatest opportunities. Many will write to the office of the IGP for me to come forward, but I am honest to tell them that I'm sorry, I am avoiding, a lot of things now. Not because I don't want to be in those schools, but then there is always a starting point. So a lot of people will always see me as a police activist, and of course I can be one, right? But still in a more positive way. You look at where things are not going right, bring them on board. So I am honestly thankful for your invitation to the school management and to the people that aspire to become police officers. You have a country to serve. When you become police officers, don't have the notion that I am there to use force. Please, I was trained with paramilitary officers, and today some of them will tell you, I know what they know. even though some of them might be thinking they know better than I, but then they can equally accept the fact that she was there with us because they know, I know. So when we are serving, we serve with pride. To me, I see everybody as me, and whenever I am implementing or enforcing the laws, I make sure it's not about me, it's about the law. Because we are Gambians, we have the Gambia, and we can inspire each other through the work that we are doing. On that, I wish to thank you all once again and apologize for making you to sit for these long hours. It wasn't intentional, and hoping that in the near future we will interact again. I'm grateful.
Being the best of the best doesn't mean you are the best out of the rest. But not being part of the best does not mean you can ever be the best. It's high time to think things forward, which will make you the thinkable things and try to think unthinkable things for greatness to think about. The title of my point is You Are the Greatest Enemy to Yourself. And here it is. I am life. Yes, I mean life. I mean L-I-F-E, life. I give you options, but you make decisions. I create an avenue, a right path, otherwise, and here otherwise means wrong path. I'm a social media. I give you beautiful things that are very entertaining. I keep you scrolling, consuming yourself. You never consume me because I am life. I mean, I am L-I-F-E, life. And you are L-I-V, live. Because you live, you live in me. And now listen, you can be a barrister, but it's not going to happen just like that. You have to study. You have to live. You can be a doctor. Yes, the medical doctor, but not the those who know other science. Not the those who know other mathematics. You can be a policeman, but not those who know other English class. How many graduate if you keep rolling and you keep spending your life on me as a life, and me, I am good. Can't you see all the people are using me wisely? Can't you see all the people are using me wisely, studies and all the research, but you keep posting on me and I keep consuming. Because when I saw you, I want to get you, so blame me and never blame me for your own predicament. And today is a beautiful day where seeing lawyers and seeing magistrates and seeing doctors, seeing love for yourself, because you are the beautiful ones here. So to the department I belong, to be determined that group of from ABC and now 1 to 3, that department, Humanities department is incomparable. And you cannot be compared to all and any. And I thank you all. Thank you very much.
Yes. Good afternoon. What should I say? To the high table, with our distinguished legal representative, DSP Barry, and my good friend, should I say Diploma Kemo, the staff, the principal in absentia, head of department, colleague teachers, the MC, the cameraman, who is also a very good friend and a colleague. Today I will say students, but I say I will distinguish lawyers, air hostesses, architects, teachers, members of the bar, His Excellency, our police officers, and all other duly and respectfully observed. Just we say traditionally, it is a distinguished honor and privilege to have this occasion held. It was a short notice with short preparations with overnight works that have this maiden day been put on. If you are in the system, you will understand that organizations are the most difficult thing, especially when it comes to school organization. This day was organized in a period when we are approaching exams. We need to prepare our students, the students need to read, we need to mark and do other things, but on top of that, great work we are put on. So therefore, I also thank the committee. We are all students who did this great job. With their coordinator, Mr. Abadulia, they actually did a great job. At one point in time, I was absent. Physically, I was present with them, but I was absent. He did everything with the great team, led by, of course, Fatima Sane, a great student. Yes, we have a lot of people, but Fatima's work was extraordinary. She had to take a mobile phone to give it to somebody to use in order to make the program successful. That aside, her team, I cannot forget the team. I merely want to mention names, but they did a great job. To the ex-students, members of the bar, those at the other side, who have the hats on their head, they are excellent actually, but they also did something great to have this day successful. And this one, the co-MC council have always been great. And just as I'm talking, there's another man at the gate here, of course, have done something great. But again, who have not done great here? Nobody. Everybody here has done something great. Your mayor coming here is absolutely amazing. When you call people and they come, the only thing that you have to say is to say thank you. Because what you're supposed to say, deep inside you, is just emotions. And it's wise, it says when you are happy, just smile, don't talk. And here, therefore, we are not going to talk. We say thank you for coming. We are grateful. See you another time. But again, 3 o'clock, we are going to the cultural day. The youth are going to be there. So we are going to on. I know honorable could have go home and remove the tie. I know he's very accustomed to this tie. You can never remove it. But we have to be enough time. Okay, thank you so much. We are grateful.
Now we will excuse our guests, but before that, we want to have a picture with them, a photo outside, with some of the students here, all of them.